Prince of Wails is quite blatantly supposed to be the episode that follows Summer of Love, as it continues with our team now stuck on top of the Transamerica Pyramid in their hippie clothes, following that giant tidal wave they saw coming towards them at the end of Summer of Love. Fox originally aired this episode 4th, following the episode Last Days, then Summer of Love came after it. So it's rather jarring to have this be the intro of an episode, then see the clear lead up to this situation in the following episode. Thanks again, Fox! Now, it's a funny visual with the sliders stuck on top of the Transamerica Pyramid, but I really wonder how they managed to get up here. Cause, you know, when the tidal wave was about to hit, they were still on ground level.
Why couldn't you pull that thing up, picking your mama with you instead of me?
Can you imagine them having to slide with Quinn's mom tagging along? That'd be silly. Now, his long-lost Amish Pepsi-loving brother, that's the family member we actually need.
Now you dropped us in a world where the polar ice caps must have melted.
Did Rembrandt manage to find documentation of that in the few seconds they had before the tidal wave, or is that just his hypothesis?
Quit your crying, you know I didn't do it on purpose.
But he's the crying man. You can't tell him to stop crying. The pyramid starts tilting, and if you pay attention to the bottom, we can actually see the end of the prop top they built. Of course, this would have been cut off by the garbage area on TVs back when.
Provided we do actually get to an alternate Earth, I suggest that we take a vow that we will stay still and relax. Absolutely no involvement with the locals.
Do you think that maybe we could start that policy here?
There are no locals here.
Then what do you call him?
Well, I wouldn't call it much, but we know what Quinn would call it.
Amazing special effects.
Luckily, the team doesn't have to look at the jank shark much longer. Imagine if they're stuck on Waterworld for like a month or so. Though, they'd probably all succumb to boredom before drowning, especially when Costner showed up and told them to enjoy a tall glass of iced pea. The main world this episode is about is British World, where the Revolutionary War went the other way, so now the states are an English colony dubbed the British States of America.
It is the American way. It is the British way!
This episode was written by Lee Goldberg and William Rabkin, the showrunners for She-Wolf of London. I guess Sliders figured they're the experts of Americans writing for British people. Which, I mean, given this world, I suppose really works for it. As a joke played by The Gate, I guess, it dumps the team in a fountain after escaping Waterworld. But they sure are lucky that at least put them back down on ground level. Had they ended up around where they slid from, this show would have gotten rid of the original cast a lot sooner. The first hint the team gets of the history change of this world is when Quinn spots the Benedict Arnold Savings and Loan. Can you imagine having a building named after a treacherous douchebag? Wade finds a BSA Today newspaper left in the middle of the street to lure people over so they can easily be run over, but Quinn foils that dastardly plot. Boy, she sure got into that paper, I guess.
Are you blind, you stupid little strumpet? You're very lucky I don't. It was my fault. Entirely my fault.
The team gets taken to the royal suite as Arturo's double in this world is the slightly villainous sheriff of San Francisco. Seems to be a bit of a theme when it comes to Arturo doubles.
I have no problem with the Brits. We made top of the pops over there.
The sheriff of San Francisco has been named acting regent of the Western Americas.
Can't believe people in the 20th century would actually allow themselves to be governed by a monarchy.
The 20th century? No. Now the 21st?
There's no reason why we shouldn't spend our time here in blissful anonymity. It's part of my contract with America. I have enacted a middle-class tax cut. A generous 2%.
So much for blissful anonymity.
Yeah, so much for the British just grabbing any randos off the street and throwing them into a suite for no reason.
But for the moment, you are still the sheriff. There's no sense leaving empty-handed.
Sometimes, Miss Wails, you frighten me.
Hey, you were the one that said the team should relax in this next world. So they all quickly get on Wade's level, man, which luckily isn't astrology this time, and start getting all they can.
I want a car sent round immediately. I want you to fill the trunk with the finest cheeses and fresh fruit that you have.
Oh, come on, Arturo. We all know what you really want.
Frozen squishy divine concoction. And I want all the cash from your register.
This again is some cash I'm sure would only be good on a few worlds, so they better spend it up while they're here. It's a nice touch with the vehicles being right-hand drive, which breaks down, and good ol' Arturo doesn't help push.
This is a restricted area. Stay exactly where you are.
Now this is like downtown Oakland.
Was there no signage to that effect, or is our team being some real wonder dummies again?
That guy Hurley's a putz on every world I've been to.
Didn't expect to see you here. Are you here to oversee the operation? We've got shotgun shells, so there'll be no question that it's a hunting accident.
Very good.
Seems like Hurley is a blabbermouth on every world too. He doesn't know the rest of the people with the supposed sheriff are in on this little coup he's planning.
Sounds like they're planning to ambush some guy in the woods.
We're tourists. Not our problem.
Get me a Jamaican Pikachu at once, Mr. Mallory. Quinn disagrees with Arturo's prime directive stance and thinks they should try and stop whatever assassination is about to take place, which ends up being an attempt on Prince Harold. But for all they know, Prince Harold could be a real tyrant and they could be dooming the British states to a worse fate. Luckily though, it turns out the Sheriff of No Thought is the real villain of the piece. Soon-to-be King Prince Harold also loves to make it super easy for him to get taken out by going on completely solo hunting expeditions, which seems a bit unlikely for someone in his position, plus he's not even wearing any orange. But perhaps that is one of his few correct calls, as it seems more people are purposely trying to hit him than might accidentally hit him. After they save Harold, we get one of those commercial breaks that changes the situation in a weird way. We see Arturo go to talk to the sheriff's deputies who are going to carry out this assassination when suddenly it's nightfall and the team are alone with Harold. What did Arturo possibly say that just ended the situation with the deputies leaving them alone in the woods? Oh, my bad. Instead of getting rid of him, we're just gonna go on a hike together. Bye! And if Arturo was easily able to take command of them, why wouldn't they have had them give them a lift back into town? Or they could at least use whatever vehicle the prince must have used to get into the middle of the forest, but that never gets mentioned.
I'm getting rather hungry.
I'm a very stupid royal, you see, and I have no sense of the current situation. They want to make sure I'm never crowned king, you say? Well, maybe I won't be king of America, but I can still be the king of the Whopper.
I am not your sheriff.
And I am not Prince Harold, and this is not my game reserve.
And you are not long for this earth.
What the devil?
What the devil?
Stripped clean.
The restriction on this area is more of a suggestion, really.
Where's the timer?
It's in my pocket.
I would sure hope so. That's one of those things you don't leave in the damn car.
Look who's wandered into raided territory.
So the prince's private hunting reserve is also where the modern-day Robin Hood gang hang out. I don't think Sheriff Arturo really needed a plot to get rid of Harold. The royal stupidity on display would have taken care of that pretty soon.
Raiders? You're not the Oakland Raiders.
If you know who we are, little brother, why are you stupid enough to come down here?
They are literally the Oakland Raiders. Good one, Sliders. Best football team reference since the Pokemon movie.
I didn't know Vikings still existed.
They mostly live in Minnesota.
Quinn pretends that they were on the way to turn in the sheriff and the prince, but I mean, the prince was just a few feet away. How did these twits not already capture him?
Listen to me. They're worth more to us alive than dead.
Quiet!
We want our brothers and sisters out of jail.
Well, as long as these hostages are alive, the government will give us anything we want.
Why is everyone in British world an idiot? The rebels seriously thought the best use out of capturing the two most powerful people in their part of the world would be swiftly getting rid of them? Now that they're gone, you'll release your prisoners, right? Please? Meanwhile, we see the sheriff is using his TV show to sway public opinion to the prince being the real villain and him being the man of the people. But, I mean, come on, it's not like people are that easily fooled, right? Damn it.
What?
Few negative respondees are statistically insignificant.
They'd be completely insignificant if we had them killed.
Yeah, nothing at all like our world. They get some ransom demands from the Oakland Raiders, which doesn't make a lot of sense to the Sheriff of Blot, since as far as he knows, he's not captured. And by this point, the prince should have had his little hunting accident.
The prince is dead.
We left him in the woods following your instructions.
My instructions?
It truly is an administration that persists despite its obvious evilness and stupidity.
I want Prince Harold's head on a platter, or I will have yours.
You foolish putz! Speaking of putzes, Wade has to really beat it into Prince Harold's head that the sheriff isn't his biggest fan. Especially when, if the prince was gone, the next in line for power is, gasp, the sheriff! Again, the Oakland Raiders prove that they aren't the brightest either, as they're about to make an execution video when their demands aren't immediately met. Maybe they should have given actual video proof that they have the prince and sheriff before jumping to that. And it's only the actual sheriff doing a live broadcast that halts their plan of get rid of their bargaining chips.
Rob from the rich and give to the poor.
We truly have forgotten what being Robin Hood is all about.
Violence begets violence. Look at Northern Ireland. What's Northern Ireland? Let him speak.
He's saying things not relevant to our world. We need to hear this.
Power to the people! Power to the people!
What did we think we were fighting for originally?
Thanks to Quinn's rousing speech, the Raiders start pulling some literal Robin Hood jobs. Though they could probably really destabilize the public's faith in the sheriff if they, I don't know, use the fact they had the prince and how easily the sheriff let him get captured. And the editing on this sequence is extremely embarrassing.
To those of you who would advocate violent revolution from below, who have aided and abetted Quinn and the Raiders.
Quinn and the Raiders? Did Quinn start signing his name to the Robin Hood jobs the Raiders were pulling?
I'm Quinn! Quinn Mallory!
I don't think he's going anywhere, do you, Charlie?
Rebecca's orders.
Quinn's orders.
Quinn has become a leader of the Oakland Raiders. This episode is kind of insane. It's also a bit strange how the Sliders have ended up in a situation very similar to the one in Soviet America.
You are extraordinarily beautiful.
Do me a favor, Harold, okay? Don't go all goopy on me.
Oh, I'll show you how goopy me brains are.
When this is all over, do you suppose we might be able to see one another?
I do believe I'll make Stockholm Syndrome my bitch. From this day forward, it shall be Harold Syndrome. That's when you want to date your captors after 2 seconds.
I really value you as a friend.
They're friends? Since when?
You're the big folk hero. What's going on with you and Miss Urban Terrorist?
Oh yes, random raider Rebecca kissed Quinn earlier so that he and Wade can both be jelly. Kinda slapdash to throw this into the middle of the plot at this point.
How about we decided no involvements?
Unless it's something really important, like astrology. Wade left the prince untied and he promptly got away through the giant escape vent that the Oakland dummies left right beside him. They should have at least put some baby gates up so the prince wouldn't hurt himself. Really, I'm amazed that Harold has any sense of self-preservation at this point. Then again, he is fleeing to the other people that want to take him out. And really, of all those footballers turned Robin Hoods hanging around in their bunker doing nothing, not one of them could have had the job of keeping an eye on their extremely valuable prisoner. So as the leader of the Raiders now, Quinn heads off to save the prince from himself. Of course, seeing as Quinn's a face of this Robin Hood Raider resistance now, he's a pretty dumb choice for this operation, and guess what? Yeah, he's immediately arrested by the sheriff's men. Great job, cue ball. And Harold is realizing that being poor isn't all it's cracked up to be.
My word, I had no idea the poor didn't have butlers to straighten up their messes after playtime.
Will he be executed, Sheriff?
Yes, of course he'll be executed.
Bloody devil.
Don't forget, we're British! Sort of!
Here's what we do. They kill Quinn Mallory, and we start a campaign of random bombings.
Quinn really knows how to leave them wanting less, I guess. So, yeah, the Raiders' new plan will be no plan.
We start a campaign of random bombings.
Yeah, we're dealing with a real mind here.
But Operation Blow Themselves Up gets interrupted by the prince bringing himself back to the other people that wanted him out of the picture. I mean, he's the prince of this land. Surely there had to be a better option than just the sheriff's men or the rebels.
I realize after what I've seen in our streets, how naive and foolish I've been.
So we're not so different after all.
We're going to expose the sheriff, pardon Quinn, and introduce the concept of democracy.
So yeah, the Raiders raid the TV station so that the prince can interrupt the sheriff's show, which is getting really bad in its 5th season anyway. And they get Quinn out of the chair, which I guess he was really expedited to.
Gonna enjoy watching you fry.
That guy Hurley's a putz.
First Amendment guarantees
Freedom of speech.
good lad. The second,
Right to bear arms.
scratch that one.
Yeah, it's a little late to protect yourselves from the British.
Oh, the hell with it. You're on your own, lad. Wing it.
The sheriff of San Francisco has abused his office and is therefore dismissed from his post.
Wow, the sheriff sure was stupid publicly trashing the prince if he could just easily dismiss him from office like that. Yay for last minute pardons, bye! But hey, at least they weren't about to make Quinn eat dog food.
Will I ever see you again?
Truly a romance to last till lunchtime.
They kill Quinn Mallory. Will I ever see you again?
Will you be my queen?
Yeah, this world's gonna fall apart 2 seconds after they leave. So another half-hearted relationship bites the dust. But at least the old Canadian department store Eaton still exists on this world, so the prince can drown his sorrows there.
We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal.
Yeah, and it says something here about no kings. Why, that's absolute rubbish! Have all the raiders executed at once! I'm the king now!
It is the British way. It is the American way.
Definitely some early season show syndrome kicking in on this episode, as there are just way too many logic holes and characters making moronic decisions. The Sliders ending up with some rebels and having to save a member of the team is all a bit too samey to beats in the pilot movie as well. The biggest slide hole of the episode is gonna go to Prince Harold. This guy was pretty much begging to die with how stupid and oblivious he was. Really, the only reason Mr. I go out in the woods on my own right by the Rebels hangout wasn't taken out earlier is because the Oakland Raiders fumbled the ball at every given opportunity. Next time on Sliders, I got a fever, and the only cure is Quinn being patient zero.
We start a campaign of random bombings.
Are we the baddies?